Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Kaze-Kan Podcast. With yours host truly, I'm Ed Tama 23.
And I'm Mean Mug, and I
Uh,
feel chill right about now.
I wish I could say the same. It has not been a really good week for me. It's not been a bad one, but it's just a lot of things have been just like, without going into too much detail, I'll just give out one thing. My car just kind of, the brakes in the back wheel gave out, and luckily we were nobody got hurt. I didn't spin out of control. Nothing happened. It just kind of like braking felt really clunky. I thought we had to pull over because I thought we had a flat. Luckily, it didn't have to come to that. We were able to drive back to the house. I was able to take it to my granddad's, who he knows about cars, and he helped fix it. I brought it back home today, and I'll be able to go to work with it tomorrow. So, and it's just been really hectic. I've been exhausted physically, but I am kind of glad we get to sit down and do this podcast for you guys. I guess we can talk about what we've been up to with games. Why don't you go ahead with this one, Mug?
Yes. Now, now, and listeners know we like us some good Smash. So prior this E3 announcement, woo, man, they announced my boy being in the game. Like Terry is now officially gonna be in Super Smash Brothers, and it
What?
feels good.
A fighting game character?
I
No.
because those who like Fatal Fury, SNK, y'all already know. I because if you ain't picking Terry, well, most likely you picking Iori, Kyo, or Mr. Karate if you just want to be technical. But yeah,
Or Nakaruru if you're like those other. I know she's not
if
a.
you
I know.
wanna if you wanna make people mad with the bird.
Yeah. Now, as we all know, there's always going to be those naysayers. Like I was being sarcastic, but there are some people that don't believe that he should have been the rep, and there are some people that think that it shouldn't have been SNK at all.
Nah. So yeah. Besides Terry, they also announced Undertale representation, but the problem with that is it's not a character; it's a costume. Which
Yeah,
me and three other my friends were laughing at the other friend who kept saying they should put Sans in the game, and then so when they play the song, it's like Sans is in the game as a costume. Man,
yeah,
me and my friends were just laughing.
and I think, long story short, I think he got in because there were people saying that him and Sakurai, Toby Fox, the creator, was what I by him, and Sakurai played
Now,
Smash
no.
together, and he beat Sakurai in Smash.
hmm
And whether or not that's all true, I'm pretty sure to an extent it's true because he has a Twitter. I'm pretty sure, and of course it's just one of those things where it's a nice little thing, and I can understand like, oh wow, that's pretty nice. But really, I'm kind of like, you know, I don't really like them playing the me characters. Their move sets are just kind of okay for me.
I mean, no ill will for Toby Fox. I congratulate him for his accomplishments and whatnot. But for me and a bunch of other people who aren't other Tales fellas, they're just like, eh. But hey, at least people will stop.
Have you
But
seen?
speaking of people stopping, our main man Sakurai also bunked a long time
Myth?
recommendation for the fans that made me happy as well, because he got like 3 awards at the Tokyo Game Show Awards, and then it's like all right, make Sakurai comes up and just says, and I quote, I get a a lot of people who ask me, "Where's my beloved Iron Man or Goku?" And then he just shot them down
Yeah.
completely.
So no non-video game characters will be in Smash for the upcoming characters. And quite
No
frankly,
Goku.
that's a good thing.
No Goku.
I mean, Smash
I
Brothers.
love my Dragon Ball, but Goku from a mechanic level just does not work. I've tried getting him into a hack version of Smash, and even with him in there, it just doesn't feel natural. Even if you were to give him care and attention.
I think it's one of those things
I
where,
mean, it'd be like trying to put Noctis in a Madden game. It's like, what?
well, that's still kind of, well, you could say that they're both video games. It's more like trying to put I forgot his name. The guy from Breaking Bad in a Tales of Vesperia game, and Tales of, or like a Tales of game in the new mobile. Just contextual, like I'm butchering
That
all
would,
my words, but you get what I'm saying. It's just Goku. I can understand like, oh well, anime. It's like he's been in a video game before, but it's just like it's a bit of a stretch. It's like there's a lot more video game and even Nintendo reps that deserve a spot before Goku.
yep.
And I was gonna bring up. Have you seen the polls for characters most requested from Europe, Japan, and the United States?
Yeah, Europe and America want Sora, and Japan wants Lloyd from Tales of
Tails.
Symphonia.
Yeah,
Which either or, I'm down with.
I'm
It,
so I don't like. I probably
I don't care which Tales of character it is. I just want some form of representation. Hell, I lose my shit if it was Yuri
yeah, and this is the like
or
look.
Flynn for the matter. If it was like just someone.
I saw America's characters, and I'm like, for the most part, I'm like understandable. But Japan's like this, I don't care if this makes me sound like a weeb. Japan knows who they want in Smash. They got one of the fact that Travis touchdown was in that list made me think. All right, Japan kind of knows what they're doing when it comes to voting for characters. Like I'm, I just hope that they listen to that one first. Like I can understand Sora, but that's all up to Square Enix.
Yep. Hopefully, here's hoping that they'll make the dream come true. Hopefully,
What
either in this wave or the next DLC wave.
for who?
For either characters.
Oh well, I know because I was only asking because I know you're a big Tails fan. So my family, my wife's family is more into hoping that Lloyd gets in because they're huge Tails fans and they've been wanting Lloyd since the once they teased that idea, the me character. Um,
Yep.
and it makes sense. It was an exclusive to the GameCube. It's a Namco band. It's a video game rep. It's a very popular character. Not as popular as Yuri and whoever the Yuri and who else got.
And let's see, who else are with the top characters would have to be Velvet and
I guess Asbel.
and yeah,
Because
th-
there wasn't there another character that got removed from the list because they were always winning. Like Yuri was always getting number one, so they took him out. That's
yeah,
who the name I was thinking of. I think there was another guy that was taken off, but anyway,
Luke, I think.
Luke,
Yeah,
from Abyss, right? I mean,
yeah.
I keep on getting keep on saying Abyss and Symphonia. I don't know why I keep getting them confused.
Mm.
But anyway, no, it'd be nice if Namco Bandai, threw in one of them because that would give a good excuse to have some Tales of music remixed, and that'll be interesting.
Ah, no, but wouldn't it be something if they had like the very first protagonist from Fantasia though,
I could
like
see them do.
Kless?
I can see them
Because if
doing
they would
that.
have did that, I would be happy. I'd be
Oh,
very happy.
I think
And
it
then
would
have
be
his final smash be a Mystic Art.
okay. So check it. I think it would have been kind of cool, um, if it was like Hero, where it's like all four protagonists from different Tales of games. But I think that's on.
Or they could do that too, to where they can have the protagonist, but then for the clone skins, they just have different protagonists and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where it's all speculation. But yes, Terry, I can like it's so obvious. It's like I honestly, if Sakurai just said I just wanted to give Kirby Terry's hat, that probably would have made the most sense.
Yeah.
That's all he had to say. It's just like, oh look, he has a Fatal Fury hat.
Yep.
What else? Ooh, speaking of Switch games, I guess we'll nice segue from me. I'm just kidding.
That's
Um,
the Astral Chain.
so Astral Chain.
Yeah.
I still
Because
need
I
to
keep
get.
hearing good stuff about it.
I mean, yeah, it's a platinum game. Of course, you're gonna hear stuff from it. Hear stuff about platinum game on the Switch, but I'm still waiting for anything on that. I know for right now the Grand Blue fighting game is gonna be shown more stuff than the game made from Platinum. But I'm just curious, and if they like, I don't know if they probably haven't even started developing it or any progress. Hopefully, we see some more stuff. But I think that right now that they're just trying to get Astral Chain to sell, so that way they can show. So that way, because I think if they showed anything of the Grand Blue, I think that would have lost all traction for Astral Chain. But I could be wrong. Um, but that'd be interesting to see those two get announced. But I was going mostly into mechanic, like an RPG wise. I've been lately. I felt like I've been in a rut, and with RPG specifically. And I thought to myself, I thought I was getting burnt out by RPGs. You know, I kept explaining to people, there's something about RPGs that I just get tired of. But I
And
just
luckily, Ed brought up that point where he was telling me about that because we were talking to some other people about the future and whatnot, and he brought up this point, and pretty much it's not the fact that Ed is burnt out on RPGs. It's just he has no patience for a overly tedious RPG, and I can fully understand that.
and
Because when it comes to that, like what game was it that just made you go, it's like I can't do it.
okay, so the game that in particular, I know a lot of people are gonna get mad, but please understand, it's not. I really tried to get into it. I know I'm gonna get flack.
Same.
I got flack for complaining that um, Kingdom Hearts, some of the levels felt a little too wide, just because it's just like I know like there's it's the good. Luckily, on the bright side of Kingdom Hearts, you can get through the level pretty fast. It's only really if you're looking for the lucky emblem and treasure. If you just go straight forward to the story, you get there pretty fast. But to the opposite of that was Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And the thing is I've been really trying to get into it. I've been really just trying to sit down and play it. But every time I jump in, I'm still in the first chapter. I haven't even met any of the other characters other than Nia and Pyrrha. And it's just so slow. It's the game is slow. It's and it doesn't get faster from what I've seen. I've seen my wife's brothers play that game. They're level 100 and they're beating on this enemy, and it's taking them like 5 minutes for a common enemy is unheard of. It shouldn't be
Yep.
that. I don't care. Oh, because of level scaling, it. I don't like it even in Final Fantasy 14, and that's what I was gonna bring up. See, I stopped playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I thought, oh, these RPGs are very sluggish, and I just thought, but no, it was only Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that was giving me that that was demotivating me, and making me think that RPGs aren't actually a good genre, because there's some really good RPGs out there that I really love, and once I play them, I can play them for hours and realize, oh, I need to stop, or I'll take it with me if it's portable. The thing is that I will sink hours into an RPG if I feel like it, but Xenoblade just like burns me out. I'm like, oh, I don't need this. It's chores. It's sluggish. It's just, and the
And
music,
I
and that's not downing on the music. I'm not complaining about the graphics. Performance is a different issue from graphics, mind you. The story I could care less, because I've seen really good stories. I've played game RPGs with really good mechanics that click and snap. I've played games that are way above and beyond perfection, and I, of course, the only game that's reached there was Devil May Cry 5. So miss me with, oh, you just don't play, because I played really good RPGs. I played really good games. Xenoblade Chronicles is a very average game to me, and it's only because it's probably, for me personally, it's probably because of the performance. Maybe if Rex ran faster and the combat was, you can speed it up, like if there was a fast forward button or something, anything, just to make the fights go faster, especially within the first, you know, chunk of the beginning of the game where everything's all one big tutorial.
yeah.
And I realized that that game alone was making me think that I have a problem with RPGs, but I just didn't want to admit that I had a problem with Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
So on that point, I can wholeheartedly agree with it because I remember a long time ago when they announced Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U. That game had me hyped. I was like, "Oh my goodness, this looks amazing. You can drive mechs, you can do all this other stuff. So this looks like it's going to be a good game for the Wii U." And so I played Chronicles X, and dear Lord, yes, the story keeps me interested, but to get to the story, there's just so much unnecessary stuff I need to do. And do keep in mind, even when I'm cheating, hacking my Wii U to make the grind less strenuous to get to point A to point B, I still can't draw. Just, I can't do it. It's that slow, even with cheats. And so, but keep in mind, I'm the type of person who would rather do the social links in Persona 3 than hop back in Xenoblade again.
And I
And
think with,
that's saying something.
yeah, and the social links in 3 are pretty weak compared to 4 and 5. And somebody will say otherwise, because there's a lot of people who will. I'm not down, like, that's not disregarding 3 as an actual game. I still think 3 has a lot better tracks than even my favorite, which is 4. You know, I think 4. I put in order 4, 5, 3, and because I haven't played them yet, 1 and 2, because I haven't bought them off the PlayStation Store, and I don't know. There's the PSP version of it. I know people say 2. There's a lot of people who say 2 is the best, and then you're just. And I'm like, okay, it's good. It's okay to be wrong, but just keep it to yourself. I'm gonna get in trouble for that one, but
Nah, Toppy. It's like nothing was wrong with Dragon Quest. I mean, Persona 2.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's it's one of those things where it's okay that somebody's favorite isn't your favorite. Like if you love 2, it's like it's fine, but I mean,
But
from a
understand it's
gameplay
harder
wise,
to come back with what we have today.
you know why nobody talks about 1? Because 1 has an hour long. Well, I think also because it was also heavily edited for the English release, but also it just takes forever like to get into, and that's saying something because most intros to these games take a long time to get into. I think the quickest one for me was 3, then
Hmm
4, 5 being the longest, because you had to get through all that jazz before you even got into the main dungeon.
But at least five and kept you interested.
No, once you got into the meat and potato, like that's why with Persona, I know it's just like, oh, you complain about the very long. I can read text pretty fast, so I don't really listen to, even though it's fully, if it's fully voiced or something. I still kind of skip it because I got, okay, if I read it faster than they said it, I will skip it. Because like I still don't have patience. I'm still
I
impatient.
if I were to be real, I never thought that there would be a point to where this part of the game would drag on longer than Roxas in Kingdom Hearts 2. I never thought that this would happen.
That
But
happened.
Xenoblade, mm, man, does it drag on.
I still think I don't. I'm one of those people that it's just like I never saw the problem with Roxas because unlike what happened in Metal Gear Solid 2, you do play as Sora once he's done. So it's
Yeah,
and Metal Gear Solid 2 is such an upgrade from 1 in terms of mechanics. I know a lot of people do like 1, but there's a lot of things that like I play 3 and 4 and 2 the most because it built upon the foundation. Now, you can argue about the story and everything, or which one's better, and that it goes for any game. But if the game, like Devil May Cry 5, could have been a really, really terrible story, could have been have a lot of things left up in the open in the air, but for the most part, everything clicks in that game. And I
they
know it's not
weren't
an
trying to be
RPG.
too ambitious or anything.
No, they were.
Just
Yeah, no,
nice and to the point.
they basically said, "All right, the stuff that we did in 4, it's every time. Every time when a Devil May Cry game comes out, what did we do before? We made it better. To
Yep,
get to the missions, I think it didn't have a bloody palace, right? When it came
in
out?
the beginning. Yeah, but
Yeah.
they brought it
Yeah,
as
so of
DLC.
course. And if they do make Virgil playable as DLC, that's just icing on the cake right there.
Yeah,
Oh, I just cracked my neck. But yeah, Dante is like slick, and honestly,
and it doesn't feel awkward to chain combo into his styles and Dante doesn't like pretty much when you're playing high level, Dante doesn't sound like he's having a seizure anymore.
yeah. But also Nero could have been underwhelming with his new like ability, but then when you unlock that extra devil trigger, um,
Mm, yep,
and
it gets way
if you
better.
played the very hard modes with it unlocked, it just, oh wow, you just got all this crazy stuff. It
It
it's
gets more
one of
fun.
those games where I want to play it over and over again. And it like
Man, I almost unlocked the super variants.
when I
Like I
got to
just
play as
got back
Dante,
to
it was a life-changing experience for me cuz
it.
I finally got to play as my boy. He's back. He's great. This is awesome, you know. But with Xenoblade and cuz before see I we were see what that means? We would rather talk about other games before talking about the problem with Xenoblade because I just don't want to deal with Xenoblade 2 right now. Maybe somewhere down the line where I'm out of games to play, but or maybe if I just have more time to just sit there, I will do it. But it's one of those where the enemies aren't satisfying to kill, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like
It's
Devil May Cry makes fighting very common enemies fun
yep.
cuz they're just basically like, "Oh, they're not hard, but now I could hey, while he's still alive, let me try practicing this combo I thought of in my head." You can
It,
mix it up. And even in Persona, like and in Shin Megami, you can change up demons to change up your tactics. And I know you can change your blades, and I know that's probably where it comes all to that's where it comes down to. But that's like in Xenoblade One, that's not you don't do that. There's no blade system. And two, Xenoblades the blade system in two is a lot like there's a lot of blades and they have their own quests and it's just like I don't care. I don't you know it's not like when I see it I'm like, oh, those characters look cool. They got a lot of Japanese are, they got a lot of artists to do some of the art styles for each blade, so they have a unique art style. But again, it's not the game it's not Xenoblade's art, it's not its music, it's not,
It's not even the plot. It's the gameplay.
which is the one, like, I know there's like, and there's games where I will play that had just clunky mechanics, and it's just like, why do you play this game but you won't play Xenoblade? Because Xenoblade's way more better. It's just like, because it's to the point. It's like I can play like Let It Die. I could play it for like a couple of minutes, and I could put it down, and I'll be like, oh, I got a lot of progress. And in Let It Die, that's saying a lot. Or just, I'm trying to think of a, like, even Conception or even Neptunia. Like, I still haven't gotten to Neptunia, but I just rather get into other RPGs. It just makes me want to play other RPGs that I haven't got a chance to play. So in the only thing essence of not playing Xenoblade, I'm just playing other games.
Yep.
So
Say that.
it's so for anybody gonna who think is upset, I'm not gonna. I don't hate Xenoblade 2. I just don't feel like playing it right now because I realized it was the problem of why I felt like I was getting burnt out on a genre that I didn't I'm not too keen on in the first place, but I still liked it when I got finally, actually got into it. I'm a like a arcade kid, a token muncher, whatever. I played games that were, you died, you keep playing or give up before you spend all your money.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, I didn't have time to think, oh, mechanics, and Pokemon, I played it. Some of them, Ruby and Sapphire were the only ones I really liked. Was the only generation I liked because it was the only one that I actually got to play and make a lot of progress in. Um,
I'm on and off of Pokemon
yeah,
because
it's
I only remember playing yellow, gold, silver. I tried to come back with black and white because people kept saying, "Oh, black and white story is good, it's good," and then when I tried it, it was just
it's
Pokemon
it's
meets
very,
P.
see,
But no,
Pokemon stories, no matter what, there'll always be cookie cutter, by the books, a very stale RPG, especially when your character has no input on it. Like, customized characters can have impacts in the story. You can make it work, but they don't want to do that, which is weird. But I mean, but to be fair, that's it's a Pokemon series. I know that's like, I know for some people that's asking too much, but you can't say
not
that.
really.
No, but I'm just saying, like, look, you can't say it's, if it's that's the case.
I mean, they
It's a
know it's gonna sell either way because of brand name. People are gonna get it anyway to keep up with the trends and play with their friends and whatnot.
mm, yeah,
I mean, that's fine, but just after a while, people want better. But then again, at the same time, I'm spoiled from RPGs that actually have some plot instead of just, oh, we're gonna stop a organization. Well,
yeah. It's one of
okay,
those
been
things
there,
where
done
it's
that.
like when you bring up Pokemon, it's a you can't win an argument if you're against it. It's like, oh, I don't like this RPG. Why? Because it's for babies. Well, it was meant for kids, and it's just like, well then, but everybody likes playing
You
it.
say it's meant for kids, but we have the same adults playing the game and trying to make the argument. Well, it's for kids. Well, then why are you playing it? Well, I like to play the game. Well, I like to play the game as an adult too. Therefore, it's free to be criticized like any other game.
Yeah, it's one of it's the whole, like, should a child, um like
If a
children
kid want
movie,
to play
like,
Pokemon, they're gonna figure out how to play it, whether you want or not. I'm just talking about my point of view.
all I'm saying is that don't talk about Pokemon story being like great or something, because that's an insult to a lot of RPGs who do try to make really good stories that would make you cry when you play it, when a character party member dies or something.
Yep.
Um, but yes, so no, for people that are really big fans of Xenoblade Chronicles, I can understand that you could be like, oh well, if you play it this way, it'll, so I was like, miss me with that. I understand that I could be playing it a better way, but it's one of those things where it doesn't matter how you play it. For me, it's just a slug, and if I keep trying to play it when I don't want to, I'm just gonna end up hating it. I don't want to hate it, so don't try to convince me to play it because it's just gonna make me be like, well, I'm just gonna keep playing what I'm gonna and stay away from it because it, it it's one of those things
Yeah,
where I will
you
tackle it
play when you
eventually.
feel like playing it. Like, say, for instance, whenever I played Conception 2 for the first time, no one told me to play it. I just saw the cover and was like, you know what? I pick it up,
Oh,
and I actually enjoyed it.
Conception too, despite its cheesiness and its quirkiness, it's a very anime game. I know that's, but
The
when you play it, it just
mechanics
clicks.
are interesting.
But no, it's also fast. I was like, it's one of the only few Vita games that are constant. That's a 60 frames per second,
Hmm.
and you can get it on PC too. So if anybody wants to play it, you know, I mean,
Can't. Hopefully, the first game comes out, like the first remake comes out in the West for the PlayStation 4. I hope.
who knows? It's all up to Spike Chunsoft.
Yep.
Uh, yeah. So let me take a quick second. Okay, so anybody wondering, I'm just pulling up my Steam library because I need to see what kind of games, RPGs I have in my library that I plan on playing. But I'll probably play. But Xenoblade Chronicles, not a bad game, just not in my personal should play it first game. I
I
will
mean, you
play
got to
other.
get to it eventually, but
I
that
still,
had to be when you just have nothing to play at that point.
yeah, because like Three Houses just came out, and I haven't been able to play any of it. So I've been just playing the Fire Emblem games that I own already.
Yep.
Oh, um, speaking, just going off topic real quick. Borderlands 3 was recently released, and it's not. It's getting a lot of mixed responses. It has an 85 from what I've seen on Metacritic, but the user score is really low. It's in the red.
Oh, did someone get offended?
No, it's people are actually complaining about the Epic do like it has a DRM where it means it has to be always online.
Oh,
And also
because
the performance issues on the PC are so bad, but there's no unlike Steam where there's no forums to talk about it. They are actually going to Steam and using the Borderlands 2 Steam page in order to
and
open up
review
discussions.
bombing.
No, not review bombing. Maybe I actually haven't checked the reviews, but from what I saw, they were there's a discussion page on Steam where you can talk about the game, talk about the bugs or anything. Does anybody know how to fix this? But they're using Borderlands 2 to talk about Borderlands 3. So it's one of those things where it doesn't matter how I
It's like they'll get the game on the store, but they won't talk or do business. It's just, all right, we got the game, and let me go back to Steam.
yeah. So I still
I
have
mean, the thing that comes down to it is, I know though what the DRM is like. It's that whole de nouveau nonsense to where we're gonna put it in the game because we want to make money. And it's hard for pirates to crack. No, no, if they really want to get to your game, they'll figure it out. I mean, it happened with Sonic Mania, Witcher 3, and all these other games.
yeah, but it honestly I probably won't even touch Borderlands 3. Like I have Borderlands 2 only because of uh character that is voiced by Makoto's voice actress. So yeah,
Uh,
go ahead,
I
judge me.
wouldn't
I don't care.
know. I wouldn't know what to tell you because I never cared about the Borderlands franchise to begin with. So
It's it's all right. I like playing as her because she actually has a really okay mechanic. But honestly, I play better shooters and other games. But Borderlands 2 is like I got it for like cheap. So um, what else?
the
Any?
only thing I hear from Borderlands is just memes.
Oh yeah,
That's
no,
about it.
they're just as bad in 3 as they are in 2, if not worse. But I think the problem is that it's I feel like from what I've seen, Borderlands 3 looks like it's just Borderlands 2 without adding anything other than it's just a very basic looter shooter, and that's all it really is. I mean, that's all Borderlands
Oh,
ever
so it's
was,
Fallout.
but no, because Fallout actually has like interesting characters and decent side quests, especially in the older games.
Nah, that's
And
just a joke towards 76.
no, but 76 was a mess. That I'll give it that. But that one, they just gosh. Speaking of 76, they said they're actually adding NPCs to the game.
What?
Yeah, because there was in the game there was no NPCs, but now they're gonna start adding it. Which it's
You're,
one of
you're
those
you're
things.
kidding me. They're adding. They didn't have NPCs at launch.
No, everything was all hollow tapes, and most of the any other people you would see would be other players.
Bruh, bruh. I know Skyrim was a buggy, broken mess when it first came out, but Bethesda, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Honestly, they should have just released Soldier 76. Fallout 76 as a open, like they should have just released it as a early access, and everyone would have been like, you know what? Okay, who knows? Maybe down the line it'll get patched to be a point where everybody's actually that's playing it is like, oh wow, this game suddenly got good, and who knows? I'm not. I didn't buy it, so it's no skin off my nose. I think it was on sale somewhere, or I could rent it from Redbox if I ever wanted to play it.
Eh,
Yeah.
I'll never into Fallout. So, although I do feel bad for the people who enjoy Fallout because it's just lack of dedication and it's like, oh, y'all like Fallout, y'all just gonna get it. So we're just gonna use the same old engine and y'all gonna fix it. Well, correction. The console people are just gonna have to deal with the broken mess, while the PC people are gonna have to fix the mess.
Yeah.
And they're hoping it's gonna have the Skyrim effect, but it's like no. People can work with Skyrim because it's not too hard to patch and fix on the PC, but as for consoles, yeah, it's cute that they got mods working for the Xbox and PlayStation 4, but it's not going to hold a candle to what the PC can do with graphic fidelity and quest and all that. Because
Oh.
at least on PC, I don't have to worry about my game crashing in 5 minutes. Because my brother has it on the Xbox One. I figured, all right, let me just grab my load order and put it on him so he can see why I like it.
Yeah.
And so I put my load order the same way I got it on PC. I don't got anything more than like what 120 mods at best for graphics, equipment, and whatnot.
Mhm.
And can you explain to me why on the Xbox One that can push 4K, 60 frames per second, that game crashed in no less than 6 minutes?
Uh, it's a buggy mess. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, but at the same time, you had the Xbox 360 version, you had the PlayStation 3 version, and you had the PC version that's been out for a long time. I don't understand why Bethesda doesn't grab the unofficial Legendary patch, put it on the special edition, and the game functions. Or hell, even give us Skyrim script extensions so it
Yeah.
can you can cause a loop to where if it loads too much, like it'll just load all the memory in a loop so the game doesn't crash. See, that's the convenience of the PC community. I just don't understand. They have the tools and the ability to do that, but they just lazy. It's just the whole thing. Someone's gonna buy it, so we don't have to care as long as they're not falling through the floor. But then they're falling through the floor in certain parts of the game. So what are y'all doing?
Yeah. I guess we can move on to a little bit of a more positive note. There were some games that have been announced from the Tokyo Game Show. A lot more gameplay has been shown for certain ones, trailers. Um, was there anything that caught your interest? Have you seen anything from it?
The only thing I've seen from Tokyo Game, the Final Fantasy VII remake,
And what's your take on that?
it already got my money.
I heard that there was going to be a classic mode.
Hmm, a classic mode. I doubt it, but then again, you know how old fans are.
It, it,
I love Final Fantasy as a, but the only thing that gets on my nerves would have to be Final Fantasy 6 fans and 7 fans, because 6 fans are griping and crying because they hate polygons in 3D graphics and they want to go strictly back to sprites. And while 7 fans are more griping and crying about how the gameplay isn't the same as Final Fantasy 7, so can't get into it, i.e.,
yeah,
the same people who complain about 8, 9, 10, 12, and hell, even the 13 games. I mean, now if you were to say 13's story was a train wreck, yeah, yeah, it was. Was it entertaining? Yes. But from a gameplay perspective, it was playable.
yeah.
Well, except for that last one, like Lightning Returns, that was
Yeah.
just unnecessarily
Yeah,
hard.
that one was pretty weird. For me, Final Fantasy VII, it's one of those ones. I think my brother's gonna end up buying it. I will probably play it. I don't have as much as an attachment to Final Fantasy VII. Uh, Final Fantasy VIII got its HD, not remastered, but HD remake where they just kind of updated everything, and it just came out recently.
Which I'm fine with that.
I mean,
It's not
they're
too
only
fancy, and I've already beat it. I my only the only hiccup that I had with the remaster version was they were using MIDI files for a certain section of the game. I was like, why are y'all you reusing the like extremely old assets from the 1997 PC copy? But other than that it was good because
yeah.
it's they made it a little bit more convenient to where you don't have to spend too long like forming for magic, so you could just continue. I mean, if I were to beat the game, if I were to beat the game instead of it taking me like maybe a couple days, I can literally beat Final Fantasy 8 in about like what, like 6 hours if I were just to bum rush the thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, Final Fantasy VII looks good. I think I might end up dabbling in it. I don't know. I might buy it when it probably later down the line because who knows? I'm not. It's not a day one purchase for me, but um, it's would be. Huh. I'll probably pick it up. Uh, I'm kind of interested in that Sakura Wars game. Do you know who's the art director behind that one, or at least the character designer for the?
Nah, but I did hear it's getting anime, so that's worth checking out in the future.
Oh, well, do you? I'll give you a hint who it is. They made a manga that was fairly popular within the shonen era, went around circa 2004. Aired on Adult Swim.
Mm,
Starts with a
mm,
B.
oh, Bleach.
Yeah, Tite Kubo did the. You can and it's once you realize it's him, like the characters, like his designs for them, it's like, oh, I see it. Like one character's literally just Orihime.
Kubo, could you please give us the final part of Bleach animated, please?
Not gonna happen. And I think that's just because the whoever's running the show kind of screwed him over.
We got Gantz. Oh, if we can get Gantz, oh, why can't we get the final half?
What was Ganso about? Because I tried watching it, but I stopped watching it.
Oh, Gantz O was well, it's gonna be spoilers,
I,
but
well, I'm spoilers for a really old manga. Not old as some, but pretty. If you haven't finished Gantz by now, too late. Go ahead, spoil it. I,
so
I read it.
pretty much Gantz. If you read it, so you remember when what's his name again?
Keiji
Yeah, when KG's first team
died.
died, yeah,
Yeah,
and then he had to pick up the slack for a minute, but then afterwards he had to step down and but he brought back his best friend K.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much it takes place during that time. I was like,
Oh, okay. That's why it's so confusing to me.
yeah.
Like, cause the way I watched, it, I was like, I don't
It's like
remember.
where's K? No, this is like when his best friend came back and K was doing something else.
I think I'll watch it just to. Okay, good to know. See, that's not. See,
Yeah,
and if anybody hasn't read it, then that's not really like out of context. That doesn't make any sense.
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, Sakura Wars looks pretty interesting. I never actually played the PS2 game that came late into the PS2's lifespan. Because by the time Xbox when game came out, it came out later than Persona 4 too. Because Persona 4 and Sakura Wars came out late, and the Xbox and PS3 were like already on the horizon or practically out.
Yeah.
But I probably will get a chance to play the original Sakura Wars before this one comes out. Um,
Fun fact: the only reason why I don't know about soccer, of course, is because Sega Sanchiro commercials. Love them commercials.
yeah.
To the Sega fans know whenever the siren came out in Japan, it'd be like, "Oh, what should we do?" And then this big hulking dude that knows judo just
Segata.
comes up. Yep, he just comes up and says, "You playing the Sega Saturn?" What? And then he just body slams.
Yeah, look, I don't care what anybody says. I will always like I'm an arcade kid, but I'm also a Sega kid. Like I love Sega's aesthetic and commercials, and nothing Nintendo has done could ever top Segata.
Yep.
He's even isn't he a recruitable character in Cross Zone Project
Yeah,
Cross Zone?
that was funny. Yeah.
Anyway, so games are hit or miss, but generally I'm not not just too disappointed. Death Stranding will be pretty interesting, but I don't think I'm gonna pick it up day one.
Same.
Like I picked up Metal Gear Solid 5 day one, but I stopped playing it after a while. It I just want to play whatever I feel like playing. Like I realize there's a lot of games that I haven't even tried out that I bought from Steam, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't played it because I told myself I was gonna stream it, but I never ended up streaming it, so I never played them. Funny. Oh, but I did buy the Danganronpa series, 1, 2, and 3. Let me make sure. Yes, 1, 2, and 3 for like $9 on Steam. Thank you, Spike Chunsoft. I really appreciate that. I've been meaning to play that series, and now I can, all for a cheap price. And it's funny because I've never been spoiled by that game. Well, the
Yeah.
first one, yeah, I've been spoiled, but it's not really like context wise. I know who dies, and I know I've seen some of the examples of the good and bad endings, but it's still like I'm still in the dark about how everything gets to that point.
Hmm.
So it's just like I can still enjoy the series. and haven't seen anything of 2 or 3. I've only seen characters. But other than that, yeah, video games. Oh yeah. Kind of dry on the anime thing. The only thing I've been watching recently was uh Kimetsu no Yaiba. I'm gonna keep pronouncing it like that. People call me a weeb all you want. I just like saying it better than Demon Slayer.
Hmm.
Um,
I still got to watch that. I did see.
Really decent show. Um,
I seen Yujo Senki the movie, which was that was funny.
uh,
Because you think, for those who actually watch the show, you think, all right, she's gonna win, and then here comes America with nuclear magic lasers. Man, it was good overall. Like I can't
uh,
wait it comes out.
I'm I'm watching Fruits Baskets with my wife. I don't hate that series. I never got into it when I was in high school, but and this is coming from somebody who read or ran Host Club, because you know, I can. I read a lot of shojo, but Fruits Baskets was the one I was like, I'm gonna hold off on that one because I don't know. I just didn't. It just didn't click with me. And
Same,
I've been
but
hearing some. I've been hearing
haven't
a lot
seen
of
so.
mixed messages about Fire Force.
I haven't watched Fire Force, but I get the sentiment because people are like, okay, Fire Force is good, but could you please give us another Soul Eater or a reboot? You
That
know?
okay, well, that right there, I don't like when people do that. That kind of it's just I don't know how so like I need Soul Eater had really good art style and everything behind it. But does anybody even remember the manga that he created before that? Bone?
Well, the thing
Or it's
is
not
about,
called Bone. It's called something else. But it's about has to do with bones.
well, that depends. Are you talking about Record 7? Because they already just released it.
Not Studio Bones. I'm just talking about the story that the guy who did Soul Eater, his first manga.
Uh,
Anyway, not important. I will probably watch Fire Force when more episodes come out, just because it's one of those. It's just oh, like I can just watch and sit, cause there's not much I'm really trying to watch. There's no new show like Yaiba. Yeah, I'm watching it, but it's one of those where it's it comes out, I watch it. It's like My Hero. It's like I watched it came when the new episode's out. Watch it.
the only other stuff I'm watching had to be like two isekai shows and the next season of Sympho Gear along with like a certain scientific accelerator. That's about it. I've been
Oh,
enjoying Accelerator though. Accelerator.
oh, I did. I did finish the first season of Hestia.
Mm,
So
season
now,
two
yeah,
though.
now I can get into it. I can get into season two.
I won't spoil it for you, but man, does it get good? It's
Uh,
just that whole thing of those moments where you don't like that one character, but when that one character gets it,
yeah.
feels good.
And from what I've seen from Hestia season one, I liked. So it had some really good moments. I like some of the characters. I just feel like, oh, it was already like it just kind of ends. Like, oh, that's the end of this season, I guess. Like I didn't like, and I watched it a little bit before, like in the when season two was like first came out. So I was like, wow, that kind of just ends. Like it doesn't, cause I don't know. I feel like the pacing was just like was shoom. Like it felt 13 episodes too fast. Where certain shows have like I feel like we got to like I don't know, but I'm pretty sure there's more moments. I don't know if it. I didn't hate it. It just the. I just felt like, oh, that could have been paced a little bit well better.
Well, about that, a friend of mine was talking about well, not necessarily that, but I think I'm trying to remember. It was one of the shows that he was watching at the moment. I forget which one it was, but it was a whole issue of he said, "Well, I don't know why they keep skipping all these amazing parts in the light novel." And I had to keep reminding him, you can only fit so much into 21 minutes. And no, I'm not going to say it's 30 minutes, it's 20 minutes if you cut out commercials.
Yeah,
So
and mostly everything nowadays is like 23 to 24 minutes. But it's only 30 minutes because of advertisements.
so you're not going to fit all these misadventures and all these single one-on-one conversations between protagonist and someone else in that span of time. Now, if they were to do it the way like Case Closed, or well, I would hate to say One Piece, but yeah, like Case Closed does its plot in the way to where if they needed to tell a major plot point, then each episode or each chapter will be separated into 2 or 3 episodes to get that whole segment of plot in instead of just trying to rush it in one episode.
Yeah, but I think it's. I would say just saying One Piece and Case Closed are kind of like bad examples because they're really popular, so they can show almost everything. Like they have the money to do anything that was in the manga without skipping over it. If anything, they add filler in One Piece because they need to catch up, or like the manga's delayed, and it's just one of those things. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I still need to
Yeah.
watch that one where I forgot what it is. All I know is like it's forgot how you pronounce it, but you love your mom and her critical hit chance or something like that.
Wait, you talk about Mom Online?
I don't. I guess I don't know. It's just where
Nah, that
a boy, and his
one.
mom get teleported into like a game, and she's like really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, oh,
I tried to give it a chance, but it's just bland.
my wife's watching Carol and Tuesday, which is a Netflix exclusive. It's all right.
Yeah.
I just feel like it has it's something weird, and I think it's because like the characters are singing. It's like the music's actually nice, but it's one of those things where the only thing that really bothers me is that when characters are singing, it cuts and pans towards audience people, and like some of the characters, if they do dances and if they're like performing while singing, it's kind of rotoscope, which not a big deal. Like like it's well animated. That's what I'm saying. It's the when they cut to the audience reaction and or the main characters, and they're just have like this, like you can tell it's just one single frame, and it goes on for like 2 seconds of them just like standing there like in amazement or just kind of like listening, and I don't know, like it's one of those things where I can understand. I don't think I it got the best form of like development. Like something about it feels like it was rushed because like you look at Space Dandy and like Hachiko Michiko Ihachin, Cowboy Bebop and all like those. It just feels like animation. The animation of it just kind of feels a lot more stunted, but that could be also that it's currently airing in Japan. It's one of the and it's just
Or it
being
could just be the budget.
yeah, who knows? It's not a bad show, just not one I watch it when she's watching it, but I kind of just back and forth. I'll walk away, do something else. Um, and uh, As far as I'm concerned, I think there was Cannon Busters, but I haven't. I don't know what anything about that. I just don't like a Netflix exclusive anime. I kind of stay away from because it's just like, bleh. I mean, I watched Devilman Crybaby, but that was because it was Devilman. I don't. I can't. Like, I can't turn that one down. I was gonna watch it,
I ain't, cause who else want her person just being living
but
tar out of people. But speaking of beating people to oblivion, this comes to our next topic.
we weren't even talking topics at that point. We just got off the rails. But I mean, that's just how it rolls. I mean, it's a Sunday as of now. Dating this podcast, not saying what date it is, but I'm just saying we're recording this on a Sunday, so it just feels like we're just talking. So go ahead with the topic.
Yeah. So, like me and a couple friends of mine, we went to our local meetup in the community, and it was interesting. And you had people. It was a nice sight. Some people had old TVs, and some people had new TVs. The old TVs would have Fist of the North Star, Bloody War, Virtual Fighter, Tekken, CVS 2, and just a good variety of games. I was like, huh, this is nice, and it's just nice to be around people. And I'm just sitting there watching people, just seeing who's good, who's not. And if I see someone's like, oh, I like the how he did that. Let me hop on and see what he could do, or her, but whichever. So we sitting there, we talking, and then this dude he comes up and he tries to ask us a question. It's like, oh, okay, so we're trying to make a better place for the fighting game community because we see there's money to be made and whatnot. And and based off of how I held myself self and my other friend, because my other friend, my other friend, he would be more like he knows his history, but when he talks about the FGC, he talks about it more from a modern day view of how things are going, and while I am more an older view,
Hmm.
like say for instance, he would talk about Mortal Kombat now or what was going on between 2010 or 9 up to now, and while I would be what happened from the 80s and 90s to now.
Yeah.
So we were talking about it, and so he just asked us a question. So if we were to make a place just for y'all, what would be the main problems that we would have to address?
Hmm.
And it was a good conversation because we have, when it comes to the FGC, if you want to have a good community and you want the community to thrive, it comes down to your area. Now, if you want a good area, you had to adhere to like three basics, like having structure, mitigation, and pretty much. Uh, I forgot. I got the last one because I was getting too comfortable falling asleep. But yeah, so I probably might get into it though. Oh, decorum. Yeah, and I'll get more on that in a moment. So when I mean structure, I I mean when if you have a community, you don't want a community to be scattered far across the United States or everywhere else. Or in case where we live, you don't want to go an hour to 2 hours just to go to a meetup. It would be you would want to have a building that's a central hub that is reasonable for everyone. That way, if you live in the north part of town, it only takes you like 5 minutes. And it shouldn't take you longer than 15 or 25 minutes to reach the central hub.
Yeah.
That way it's not in the vein of, oh, I gotta go here, now I gotta go here, now I got 2 hours over there. No, no, just, oh, I know where that is. Just pop on the freeway and then go downtown. Or it don't even have to be downtown. It just has to be a spot which everyone can easily reach, no matter how far you at. And so that's issue number one that you would have to focus on. Issue number two is mitigation. So yeah, I'm gonna bring up the word that no one likes to talk about, toxicity. So let me be frank. You're as a TO or as I organizer of anything, you're never gonna phase out toxicity. It's just it's a guarantee. No matter, it don't matter if you playing chess, football, basketball, like league. It's gonna be there regardless.
Hmm.
So the only thing you can do is not necessarily fight to stop it 100%, but you can fight to mitigate it. And so when I refer to toxicity, I'm referring to Ed. You've been on PlayStation Network before, right? How many times you had it to where either online or on PSN to where you're sitting in the party, right? And everyone's having a chill time, and then this kid comes in the party, and you're like, whatever, like random person, and then eventually the kid loses his game, and then he go and he just mouths off like a sailor.
Uh, I only really had that problem when I played games like Dota, but it happens.
But you had that moment before to where it's like, my guy, I know you salty, but chill.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Prime example was is that a guy got mad at me and he kept yelling at me, but my team, he was the only one on the mic chat, and my team
Yeah.
was. It's funny because I didn't say anything at all. I didn't even try to defend myself. I didn't try to say. I was just kind of playing the game, and I stole his kill. That's what set him off. And he got mad. He started yelling, and then we were losing, and he was like, "It's because of me," because he was saying because of me that I was do. But all my team was like, "Dude, it's like quiet. You haven't got a single kill. He's gotten a kill. He's killed some. He's helped more than you." And the thing is that I think sometimes how it's worked for me when it comes to that kind of toxicity is that I just let whoever is just kind of let it out. I don't try to respond. I kind of keep it, you know, because when you don't say anything, it's just like it. They can't.
Mm,
It's just you let them wear
But
themselves
that
out.
could be a detriment though, because there are many instances in the FGC to where people will act a certain way, think it's acceptable, and they'll keep doing that until that one day they get called out on the spot in front of their peers. And then whenever they try to say, "Oh, but," it's like, "Nah, you do that, so stop." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And then if he tries to do it again, it's like, "Well, we as a community, we told you to stop. If you don't want to stop, there's a door." Now, don't get me wrong. There are plenty moments where we get salty and we get heated, but it shouldn't be, it should, I shouldn't hear a person talking about, like, pretty much, if a person were to get mad and lose, I shouldn't hear this person talking about defecating into my mother's skull.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I've heard so much stuff that would just make anyone go, "Bro, what's your problem?" I, at this point, we ain't playing video games anymore. More, what is your problem?
Yeah, but
And
I mean,
so
it's just one of those things.
when the best way to mitigate that is just a little rule that I call no salt, no must. Now here's the thing. If Let me give you a scenario. If it was grand finals in Smash and someone and it was like down to the wire, and both of y'all were equally matched, and then the dude does the instant kill with hero, and everyone knows it didn't hit you, but the game says, "Lol, no, you're dead." Now, if you were to get mad at that moment, I feel for you. I will get
Yeah.
mad for you too, because that's just like dang man, you got screwed. See, in the context of that, if that would make sense for the person to get mad, but if someone were to perfect example. So this guy or this person beat me and Brawlhalla 2-1, and he beat me too, and then I got the one. But then when I got the one, he start raging, and I'm thinking to myself, why are you getting mad? You beat me. You won. It's 2-1.
Yeah.
It's those types of people to where we had to address that, so people don't get the misconception of, oh, it's all right to do that, because once when we mitigate this problem, it'll be a lot easier for new people to come in, because now they don't have to worry about that one person doing this nonsense.
Yeah.
And that comes back, that also changed into the third form, well, the third rule that I like to bring up, to having a solid community, no matter which part of the United States you're in, would have to be decorum. Now, I'm not expecting you to come in a business suit, top hat, monocle with some tea and scones, with high achievements and whatnot, to be in the fine game community. It's like, no, I the only thing I ask is to be chill, have a good time, but don't be an asshole. That's about it. And when I say that, I'm talking to the people who they've they're just now getting into the game. They're throwing around terminology that they don't understand, or well, yeah, not only that, but then if they get corrected by a peer, then they try to say, well, you don't know what you're talking about, that stuff. And then the peer gets mad, and it's like, okay, I've been playing this game longer than you have. You can't even differentiate a parry from an armor frame, but you wanna act as though, or that one thing of where the new guy wins one tournament, and just because he wins that one tournament, he thinks he knows everything about all the fighting games, all the different genres, all the tactics, and how all the characters work, only just to be on some foolishness and whatnot.
Yeah. But I mean, it's one of those things where it's like if something like that happens, it gets to the people's heads. It's winning because when winning becomes profitable, it starts getting to like points where people will put disregard everything just to win, and they don't
Yeah,
care if they but they're so into winning that losing is not an option, that when they lose it just becomes this like it's they start almost it's like denial, like anger, denial, like it's like the
the
fire.
thing. But on that note, you can say that, but I can give you like a example where one of the people I know, one day he tried to play me in Under Night in Birth, and he was so hyped to try his new tech against me, and he's thinking, all right, I'm gonna do all this other stuff. And so I'm playing, he's explaining to me about character archetypes, mix-ups, combo strings, and when you should do it. And throughout that whole entire time, he still was losing. And it's the whole thing of, okay, you know all this terminology, you're probably throwing some terminology that you don't even understand. But what's the point to even throwing around all this terminology when you still losing? It's like
Yeah.
you're trying to educate me, but in the precipice of educating me, you're not really educating me. You're just telling me something that I already know.
Hmm.
And I understand more than you do, but you're fronting as though you understand more than I do.
Yeah, but no matter where, yeah, it's just one of those things where everybody's an expert, but nothing. I don't know. I'm not a. I would like to. I'm the kind of person that I would rather be somebody who at least can keep up. If I'm not like if I'm not an expert on something on mechanics, I would be at least okay. You're throwing around terminology that I have an idea of, but at the same time, I wouldn't like. I'm a person that would listen more than I would be. All right, here's what you should do. You know, like some because a lot of for those who don't know, a lot of people that Mug knows outside of my outside of this podcast who I've met, they know a lot more. They throw a lot of terminology, and sometimes they talk about things. And the other day, um, again, not mentioning any names, but he was one of his friends came up to me and just showed me this scene from DBZ Fighters, and in my head, I kind of knew what was going on, but I didn't really. I guess a guy got comboed and like killed like in one shot, like right in the beginning of the match.
Mm-hmm.
But he showed me it with the like almost assuming that I had the same exact like knowledge of what was going on.
Yep.
But I saw what happened, but I didn't know what he was expecting me to see. I thought he like but I saw what happened. I guess it was the guy immediately got bodied in the beginning of the video, and he was upset about it, or at
Yep.
least that's what I saw. But you know, there's some like there's like when I hear like air canceling or L wave dashing, like I know wave dash. I'm just using examples, not when I hear those things. I roll around. I'm like, oh, that's a thing that they do. I wouldn't know how to use that off the top of my head because I don't practice. Like I don't play melee, so I wouldn't know how to do wave dashing. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it's a to me it's a foreign concept in terms of execution, not so much as what I know what it is. Because I mostly play Ultimate, and when we played the Wii U version when it was out, I play Smash Brothers on on terms of like casual, but we still play like the idea that when I play with my in-laws, I play them with no items and on Battlefield with stock because despite Smash being fun with using items and everything, it's fun playing competitively too. And every so often we'll jump in and play games with items and let the chaos ensue. But
Yeah.
I'm like I will say this: I in terms of games I played, I'm no expert. Everything that when I say things and I criticize about it, I'm coming off the idea that I've played more games like outside of Farmville. It's Farmville. That's so old. Um, but like outside of mobile games and not just every main AAA game like Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, like I or even popular RPGs like Final Fantasy. Like like if the fact that I brought up, I'm not saying I should get an award or anything, but if the fact that I know about Disgaea and Hyper Neptunia, it's like okay, I know more than just the basic bread and butter of Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, or not even Dragon Quest because that's not popular here over here. But I know about video games. I know what games are exclusive to most systems, for the most part. Um, but terminology in fighting games, I kind of keep to myself. I'm just like, I'll block when I need to, or I'll cheese it. I don't know when I'm playing against a computer. I'll probably lose most of the matches, but you know, I don't brag about it when I win, because it's like I'm like the kind of person that I lose so much. that when I win, I can't say, "Whoa, yeah, I finally, I beat you in your face. You suck." It's like because you beat when you get bodied 300 times in that one win. That's not is to me. That's not really a victory. That's progress. I wouldn't call it a victory.
Yep. But going back to that, it's like it's better to have that type of archetype within the community than to have a person who's just a constant focus on showboating, but yeah, like essentially being the cool kid or something like that. It's like, yeah, I did. Look at me do this special combo. Okay, do it to that guy. Oh, you didn't touch him. Oh, he perfects you. So what does that combo do for you again?
Yeah, but some people like it's some people still have that high school mentality where they have to be better than somebody. Because some people are like you sometimes you don't know when you're dealing with when you're playing in a public place. You don't know if you're fighting against an adult or some like some people look like they're like there are some kids that look like they're way older, so they're probably but it's just that they're tall. And you got people that are like 30 who still act like they're 15.
Yeah, I get that. Hey, cause the like someone brought up a point to me about the virtual fire community where you got some 39-year-old dude trying to argue people about their choice of peripheral when it comes to playing the game. And I'm thinking to myself, dog, we had this argument a billion times. The argument is over. If you want to play on pad, you can play on pad. If you want to play on stick, you can play on stick. You can play as any peripheral as choice, so long as it does, as long as it doesn't have like programmed shortcuts and whatnot, to where you don't have to hold the button, but you can still register the button and the move, and then it happens.
Yeah.
But this guy is like, no, you have to do stick. You clearly have to do this, and thinking to myself, I love to use an arcade stick. I really do, because it's nostalgic of a time lost because we don't have too many arcades anymore. That's why I like to use arcade stick. But would I want to use arcade sticks for 8 hours a day, 7 days a week? No, no, I wouldn't. I mean, I will play on arcade stick for like a little bit, and then I will switch back to plat.
Yeah.
I Because it's the same thing with the GameCube controller. It's like, yes, I can play with the GameCube controller, but if I wanted to play for long periods of time, I would use my Pro controller, because, like the arcade stick, the GameCube controller is not, what's the word? Arrow starts with an A. Like the business term for being what's it again?
Uh, I'm not sure.
Ergomatic.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. So like I was saying, the GameCube and the stick, they're not ergomatic for long time use. Because if you were to use a stick for a long time, you're bound to get arthritis. Carpal tunnel for the GameCube controller, or both. But if you were to use a regular pad, you'd still be able to play without worrying too much. So this whole argument of sticks, controls, is like, oh, it's not right. You even got people trying to ban the new peripherals, like uses of a keyboard and whatnot, to where they try to make the argument, well, it's not fair. It's like, well, they don't have all the key that they don't have as much buttons as they have on the keyboard. That's just directional up, down, left, right, and WASD and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, because like someone tried to make the argument, oh, you shouldn't use a hitbox because it gives you advantage. It's like, Oh, it does? Well, all right. Let me sit you down and play Street Fighter EX. Here, go ahead. Do exactly what you're accusing everyone else of doing. And you know what will happen? You won't, because Street Fighter EX was centered around pad players. So if you were to do it, unlike unlike now to where we have a whole lot of convenience in modern day fighting games where they have this thing called autocorrect, or the negative edge is more forgiving in some games. You didn't really have that back then. I mean, yes, they had the mechanics, but it wasn't so I can just keep doing this and be brainless about it. You either did it consistently, you did it right. If not, you do it wrong and someone's going in on you. And going back to this whole sticks versus pads things, look, I get the fact that you're frustrated that why is this dude beating, why is he crushing me with with the controller that I stopped using. But when it comes down to that, that's not so much on the person for having a different peripheral of choice that's beating you that gives them advantage. That comes down to your skill. If you don't got no, if you can't be consistent with the arcade stick, you're gonna get bodied. But if you consistent with the arcade stick, then you'll win. That's how simple it is. But people like that guy from the Virtual Fighter, a couple other people, they'll try to argue to death on why we shouldn't use anything with one pad. But then you can keep making that argument, but then now you're just closing off the gates to everyone else in the community who, or the people who might get injured, because now you're just sitting there, well, you can't play this thing unless you get this $200 controller. It's like, no, not everyone got the time to do that. And then when they try to do that whole argument, I remember back in my day, like no, I'm gonna stop you right there, because Ed, did you have $400 back then?
Nope.
I know I didn't have $400 to import a arcade stick from Japan, so yeah, y'all could stop with that right now. And then even if you did do it, yeah, you showing off, but everyone else, they're not, they don't have that. They're either gonna come up, play with the controller, or they're gonna meet you in the mall when we still had arcades, or the laundromat mats. But you get what I'm saying. So this whole argument trying to say for a person to use, it's just foolish, and it only diverts people away from the scene instead of getting people in. Because you're not gonna force a person to play uh, exactly how you want them to. You can help them get better, but just to say, all right, you want to get into fighting games, you have to do this, you have to play this way. It's like, no, because the minute you do that, someone else can say, oh, he just told you to do XYZ. Well, I'll just respond with XYZ. And what would you look at that? That I won. I wasn't being cheap. I just know how to deal with the instructions that whoever was trying to help you, I know how to deal with that.
Yeah. All right. So I guess it's time we wrap it up. So, any closing statements?
November, November and Smash. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I can't wait for November either, for more reasons than that.
Yep.
Anyway, I guess the closing statement is yes. I guess yeah. Same thing with November. It's November's gonna be a really hectic week for me. So if you guys wonder if it's been a while since we uploaded, it's gonna be because of November. But October, I'm looking forward to Halloween. I hope it comes. I hope it turns out really well. You know,
Oh yeah, it's gonna get cold.
yeah, I'm really hoping for that cold weather to come in because man, I'm just gonna
And I'm gonna be a polar bear again.
If I'm comfy, I might actually be able to play Xenoblade.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right. So look forward to another podcast episode, guys. As usual, we're your hosts, Ed Tama23,
And I'm in mug.
and you guys have a good night. Take it easy.